what concept do you have about art as a therapeutic tool, or maybe in play therapy, if you have a background in the same, and you would like to share of maybe a few phrases or words on how a flower can be meaningful in order to bring about meaning in someone's life. So if anyone can speak up or maybe write a few words in the chat box, that would be a great start. The flower rose, to you, what does that mean? You can either write it down or maybe you can just unmute yourself and speak up.
This is Shutopa here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Yeah, very good afternoon and very good morning to everybody. So, for me, I'm assuming the color of the rose is red. So, of course, then a red rose symbolizes love. And when the petals are folded together, what I can feel as the petals are blooming and as the petals unfold. So, if I can relate it today's workshop, we have all come here with a lot of expectation and love for the workshop. And as we go through this workshop, the petal will bloom, and the exciting stuff from the workshop will get unfolded. So probably that is always actually coming to my imagination.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful metaphor you're using the rose as to be. Okay, that's the agenda of this workshop today. We'll see how a rose can unfold certain meanings in someone's life without even speaking about the inner turmoils or our inner environment. Especially in the case of children, when they have so much of trouble expressing, they are knowing their world while they are growing up. And there's so much of confusion. It's very difficult if they have gone through a rough phase to talk about it to someone. So art becomes a very powerful medium, or even their play becomes a very powerful medium in order to express what is exactly going on within themselves. So today's workshop, and so many others are also pouring in their comments. If you just open the chat box and see, symbol of love, we have always known a rose to be a symbol of love, but along with the rose, the soft petal, comes the thorn as well. So if we take our life also that way, we see with a lot of beauty in it. There will be some challenging times through which we have to go. Maybe these challenging times also make us very powerful, but sometimes it so happens that we take these negative moments in our lives very, in a negative way, and we don't come out of it. So especially this, the technique which we'll be discussing, it's called the rose bush technique, which was developed and redeveloped, and I'll talk about all the details of it, and we'll do the procedure along with the relaxation exercise. So in that case, I'll be sharing my screen. Any questions before we move on? Anything you would like to know? Anything in particular you would like to add to what Shutopa ma'am said? Please make this as interactive as possible so that we learn from each other as well. Well, I'm sharing it as and when we come across certain things, maybe we can discuss further. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is a, yes, so this is a beautiful painting of a rose. I took it from Google.
No, ma'am. I just can't see it.
Can
Visible.
others see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the screen is not very important. I'll be just talking about it and we'll do the activity hands on. So even if you can't see, I'm reading it out. So just try to listen to what we are discussing. Okay, the first
Okay.
technique
Thank
which
you.
yes, the first technique which I'll be talking about is rose bush technique, which was originally developed by Violet Ocklander and Stevens in the years 1970s. It was called the rose bush. Later on, Allen and Crandall, they developed this particular technique called the rose bush visualization technique, where they incorporated a phase where they had to relax and let the imagination flow of the children. Especially, this was done on children, and then this can be adapted for the adults also. And the third set which was carried on was by Boden, and the Q-sort study which developed the Q sorting series, the Rose Bush sorting series, where these 13 cards were used to understand sexual abuse in children. What today we'll be discussing is the Allen and Crandall technique, called the Rosebush visualization technique. This is a guided imagery activity, which is both, it comes in both play therapy as well as art therapy, because you'll be doing both. You'll be guiding the child into imagination and relaxation, and then the child reproduces his imagination as a metaphor of his life through this rose bush drawing. Okay, and before I move on, uh, it's for all the art therapy techniques. In fact, for art therapy itself, it is not the product which is important, but the process. How the person is engaging, how the individual is engaging is more important rather than how well the person has drawn this particular thing. It can be anything. It can be this activity, it can be some maybe mandala making, it can be the mask, it can be anything, but the product is not important. The process or the different realizations the person is going through, that will become very important. These are the three stages which we'll be going one by one. First one will be the relaxation and imagery. Second would be the drawing, where you'll get a little bit of time to draw and use colors as per your choice. And the post drawing inquiry, where as a counselor, how you're going to, or as a therapist, how you're going to probe, maybe not probe, or direct the person into questioning indirectly. You are not trying to emphasize what is going on inside them right at this moment, but through this drawing, how the feeling is. The overall feel of the drawing will enable you to understand or evaluate the climate, the emotional climate of the person. So, any questions before I proceed? Anything anyone would like to ask at this point of time? Okay, so I move on. For this, you'll be requiring a plain sheet of paper and colors. That's it. And we'll do the relaxation, where I will just ask you to imagine a set of things. So I hope your stationery is ready.
Can you just give a minute?
Yes, sure. Absolutely. It would be great. I tell in all my sessions that it would be great if you have a background music running. It can be a soothing music here, not a very dull music, but something which is happy and peppy, at the same time relaxing. So you can have something of this sort in the background. If you can't get hold of music, that is also okay, but it should be a very quiet environment where your voice is in focus. Okay, the agenda of relaxation is to maximize visualization and imagination, because if the person is able to relax, the person will open up his mind to imagination, and that's the best channel to your unconscious mind. You can bring back things and put it down on the paper, so that it becomes easier for the other person, the client, the counselor or the therapist, to understand what is exactly going through. Okay, so I hope everyone is ready. Fine. So what I want you to do is sit back and relax. Okay, you don't need anything in front of you. You just sit back, sit in any position you feel comfortable. You can lie down, you can sit, you can stand. It's any possible way which you want to relax. Okay, I'll be playing some music in the background. I hope it will be audible. Okay, what you need to do is close your eyes and just listen to my voice. Okay, I'll give you certain prompts. It is absolutely up to you how you are thinking, what your imagination is. There will be no hindrances in the same, but there will be certain prompts which you need to follow. Okay, I hope you are all are ready. Okay. One fine day, you wake up. It's morning, it's a fresh day to start with. You walk down the road without anything in mind. You just walk away. You meet people whom you know. You meet strangers. You're walking down aimlessly. As you walk for some time, you come across a door. It's right there in the middle of the road. You don't know why it's there. You're curious. You want to see what's on the other side. You turn the knob and anxiously walk in. You are somewhere completely new. It can be a desert. It can be a city. It can be a garden, a seaside, or just your room. It could be anywhere in this whole wide world. It could be out of space. You walk towards that place. You enter the strange world. As you are walking, you slowly find that you're turning into a rose bush. You may be frightened. You may be happy. You may not feel anything. You may be surprised. You may be angry. But you turn into one rose bush. Imagine yourself how you would be in that new world. Whether you would be alone or with people around you. Whether it's raining or there's bright sunlight. There can be anything around you. There can be a river. There can be dirt. There can be a concrete road. There could be cactuses. There could be a storm. There could be a gardener. Create a world around you. Feel what you would feel if you were a rose bush. See the colors around you. See the color of the rose you are. There may not be any roses. There could be only thorns. Understand that this would be your new life. This would be you. This is how it is to be. You are a rose bush. And when you open your eyes, which you can now, it was just a dream. You came back to the place where you were sleeping. Okay, so you can come back to yourself. You can open your eyes, and what this meant was an imagination which enabled you to think that you are a rose bush, and you created a new world around yourself. So the next step would be, maybe you can initiate a little bit of discussion on what you saw, how you saw yourself to be. So maybe a few words from your end in the chat box would be great before we proceed with the drawing part. And then we'll come to the analysis part. Yes, Sadia ma'am, you want to say something? You can unmute and speak.
Well, ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you very much. It was really, I was following each and every step that you were saying to do, and I was just sitting on my sofa and I'm just relaxing back. I closed my eyes. I just observed your word. I could feel that. I'm not I'm not very like a very age, like I don't I'm just a student. Sorry, I'm just a student. So I used to watch all those shows on Disney Channel and all those fairy lands. You just I don't I just it was just magic. You took me to that place, ma'am. It took
I'm
me to
glad.
that
Thank you so
fairy
much,
land.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a few words from you all would really, initiate a discussion. Maybe you can quickly write down. Okay. It was completely different, which my mind expect to go on. Yes. It will let you visualize certain things. You will also be surprised if you go through this. I've seen me as red color. Okay. See, this generally goes on for around 10 minutes or so. If you have a script ready, if you can record it for your clients with a little bit of music, it will be much more engaging. I kind of compressed it, but this can go on for a pretty long time. And this enables, when you're doing one-to-one sessions or even in small groups, physically when you're doing it, it helps, especially because you'll have the music and the voice of the person who's doing it. That also adds on to the effect. Purpose of doing is to initiate relaxation, to initiate imagination, because the next which you'll be doing is drawing yourself as the rose bush which you have seen or visualized yourself as during the guided meditation.
And it really helps, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am?
It really helps for, it really helps. It really helps to calm
Yes.
yourself, and especially during this pandemic.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome. I'm glad. Okay, whatever you see yourself, whatever you visualize as, you can draw it on the paper. So I'll be again playing some music. I'll also be drawing with you all.
Can I say
We cannot
something?
give in too much of time. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I saw suddenly when you said that suddenly the door open and you reach whatever, I mean, any part of this world. Then I saw that I was in Darjeeling somewhere, and then when you said that, so imagine yourself as a like rose. Then I saw that it's a garden, but behind that garden there is a house. Rather, you can say it's a cottage, kind of. And the rose is red, kind of pinkish, but the house is a bit dark, kind of black and white.
Colorful, but the background or
Yes,
the environment
yes,
was not colorful.
yes,
So the exact
yes.
thing what you saw, ma'am, you can put it on the paper. Everything has a meaning
Okay,
attached. Okay, so
okay,
I'll be discussing about the
okay,
various things which you need to look into.
okay, okay.
Sun, there can be rain, there can be a thunderstorm, there can be a tornado, there can be, broken ground. It can be anything. Whatever you saw, you have to put it down on the paper. So I'll give you around approximately, say, 7 to 10 minutes, and I'm playing the music so that you're engaged. So in the meanwhile, maybe if you have questions, you can ask. Yes, you have to draw what you imagined. If you want to add on anything, you may, but try to stick to your imagination, what you saw, because that's the raw information you're getting from your unconscious mind. You can make it colorful, you can use just a pencil, but colors would always add on to your analysis because it gives a whole new dimension to your drawing. Don't worry about how well you are doing it. It's just certain things which we would like to understand after we complete. There can be one rose, there can be several roses, or there can be no rose at all. So whatever you have seen yourself to be. It can be that your rose bush did not have any leaves. It can be it did not have any thorns.
Ma'am, what I saw,
Yes.
I'm just standing in the middle of the road, and the road, the color of the road is
Mhm.
not normally black or like grayish. It's somewhat blue and pink, and I'm a red rose. In the middle of the road I'm standing, and and the path I could see around myself was pink color, and all it was like green leaves are there, and pink small flowers are there, and all of them are just like smiling. Yeah.
We'll come to it. Once we are analyzing, we'll come to it. There's no right or wrong, responses to it. Whatever you saw, you just put it down. That's your story.
Thank you.
And there are so many factors. If I'll be discussing about it, I just don't want to, in first, because that drawing will mean a lot to you. And when you're doing it with your clients or individuals whom you're dealing with, it will give you a whole new opportunity to understand what they are going through. You will find several responses. I'll show you a few samples also. Then you will understand that each one of us has a different approach of viewing ourselves as rose. And you may be questioning that why only a rose? It could be any flower. But rose is a flower which has the elements of both, both being very beautiful, delicate. At the same time, it has the power to protect our. It looks so beautiful, but when you want to touch it, it may give you pain. So that's also a metaphor which is used in our personal lives as well. So this becomes a very powerful medium of understanding how individuals generally have their inner environment or their emotional state, whether they want help, whether they are fine alone, whether they are guarding themselves or not. There can be a fence around your rose bush, there can be stones, there can be a broken road, there can be a storm or an approaching storm, there can be dark clouds, there can be bright sunlight. So all these things will have some meaning or implications in your life or in the child's life. So I guess I'm done with mine. If you all want to share anything, any picture, if you can. Okay. Wow. Okay. There's this building which ma'am was talking about with the rose bush in front. Okay. You have done two,
This is
or
my
is it of
daughter
someone else's?
who is
Yes.
who
Okay.
is also painted something like that.
Okay. Okay. Fine, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess almost everyone is done with their drawing. So can I move ahead? Can you bring it a little closer, Shrutupa ma'am? Can't see.
Can you see it now?
No. You?
Just a second, just a second.
Okay. Now I can see. Okay, so there's a sun, there's one building with a chimney, and a little up, ma'am. Maybe if you can pull it up. Yes, and there's a rose bush. Okay. Okay, now I come to the analysis part, which I'll be sharing with you all. Okay, these are the prompts. Can everyone see the screen, please? These are the prompts which you can use it with your clients or with the children you're working on. What do you look like? You can describe, you can write it down, or maybe verbally also you can talk to your therapist. What do you look like? Tell me about your flowers, whether the flowers are fresh, whether the flowers have withered. What about your leaves? Is there abundance of leaves, or is there very few of them present? Your roots, whether it's firmly grounded or there are no roots at all. What about your thorns? Who takes care of you? This is a very important question. Who takes care of you? Is there anyone who's taking care of you, or you are just left alone? Are you taken care well enough if there is someone to look after you? Then you move on to the external environmental things around the rose bush. What is the weather like? Whether it's sunny or cloudy or rainy, or it's very, very cold, it's like an Iceland around you. What's happening around you? What are the things or what are the activities which are happening around you? Whether there are any colorful factors like butterflies, honeybees, whether those are present or not. Do they come and visit or sit on you? Or what will eventually happen with you? This is something which you will have to ask the person maybe a little later. And would you like to change anything about you or become someone else? Many a times we feel that if I was someone else, it would have been better, or whether I am happy with the rose bush I am. Okay, so these are the prompt questions which you can ask post the drawing part. Or while the child is drawing or the person is drawing, you can always engage yourself in conversation that, okay, this looks very nice. Can you talk about your flowers, how they are, whether they are very fresh or whether they are looking wilted or not, whether there are any buds around, will it bloom or will it not bloom? So these are the questions which can take you off. What you need to look into are these areas. There are 4 different sections: rhythm versus rule, complexity versus simplicity, expansion versus compression, integration versus disintegration. I'll be discussing all these 4. You don't need to write anything because I'll be providing you with this entire PDF. So don't worry about writing anything. Okay, the rhythm part, if you feel, when you look at the picture, you will see at the first glance, what do you feel about the picture? You need to understand what the strokes are, whether it's very constricted or not, or whether it's free flowing. It is, it is on the paper projected very proportionately. There's a distribution or harmony in this entire picture. If you find rhythm, that means the person is more or less balanced. The second one, opposite to rhythm, is rule. You will see that it's very, very constricted. There are rigid lines, there are very restricted movement, and it is done very mechanically, maybe with detailing. If you find such things, it is an indication of extra carefulness, or maybe being very judgmental about oneself, or anxiousness. There's a lack of confidence also in this case. The person is very anxious or very, very what do I say? They are very conscious about themselves, how they are doing it, whether everything is perfect or not. Okay. The third rule which you need to look into is complexity. how complex the drawing is. If it is very detailed, immaculate, everything is in proper place, and everything is done in a very detailed way, it is also an indication of perfectionism. Now, perfectionism is positive. At the same time, it can be a negative aspect also, because it gives rise to a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry in the person. Because if I'm trying to be perfect, I will look into every other thing and stress myself. That is an indication of high levels of stress. Simplicity, that means lack of detail, and it is just done for the sake of doing it. It may be a lack of energy, hopelessness, and certain signs of depression as well. If there is too little on the paper, if it was just done for the sake of doing it, and there's not much detail on the paper, then maybe it will be an indication, direct indication of lack of energy, lethargy, hopelessness, as well as depression signs, early signs of depression. Expansion, it can be like it, if you feel that the picture has a sense of spaciousness in the drawing, there's too elements are too far apart, or there's nothing in the horizon, it's just the rose which is standing right in the middle of the picture, it can be an indication of bluntness of emotion, or just letting it be, letting go, and a sense of emptiness. On the other hand, if you have compression, there are too many things on the picture, too many things drawn on the picture. Along with the rose, there are too many roses all crammed up together. It is a direct indication that the person is, very meticulous about certain things. They are very worried with the smallest context. They like to squeeze their feeling, they like to bottle up their feelings, and at the same time it can be an indication of projecting something which is not there. Maybe too much of everything projects that you don't have anything inside. So that's the other part which you're looking into. And the last two are integration and disintegration. Integration as a whole will give you a feeling of things are in place, it's in order, it's in proportion. There's a combination of dark and light, and it is more or less balanced. What you need to look into is the disintegration part, where things are drawn just in a sloppy manner, very unrelated objects. Unrelated objects can be anything which is not related to the picture. Maybe a person with a knife. There can be danger signals in the picture itself, which can evoke a lot of negative emotions. When you look at the picture, that might give you a kind of eerie feeling, or a kind of a negative feeling, which is also an indication of boredom, lethargy, escapism, or maybe something which is more serious like psychosis. There can be indications of psychological disorders. So before I proceed, any questions from y'all? O3, if you can read it out if they are posting anything in the chat box, because I'm unable to read it while I'm presenting.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
So any questions before I talk about these as well? What you do is look at your picture first. Maybe if you look at your picture, the things which I've told you, what do you feel about it? Maybe you can write it down somewhere on the paper. See, I'm showing you mine. O3, can you just pin me so that I can show my picture?
Yes, ma'am. Just
okay, I got it. Okay, so this is what I did. It's more like, if you see, what do you think is the overall feel of this picture? If you can just put it down in the chat box. When I'm showing you my picture, if I have to tell you that, just write a few words about this. What is the feel? We have been discussing about the tightness and the compression part and the expansion part, or maybe it's balanced. What do you feel about this? Okay, someone is saying balanced, but I'll tell you it's not balanced. Many flower, it's detailed with thorns and a lot of flowers. Yes, detail but sense of loneliness. Okay, fulfilled. Okay, so we see there are so many variations of your. Okay, someone is writing depressed, simplified. Okay, if you notice, if you just notice, I just did this very randomly. You will see the leaves on one part and the roses on the other part. And especially this one, which is a different color and without any stem and thorn. Okay, and there's no root system here. There's no root system, no ground, no, what do I say, no sky, nothing around. So it's just in the middle. If I have to take it as a response from a client, okay, this may not be my inner feeling, but just to show you all, this may have, yes, no background, confusion of emotions, lively flowers and dull leaves. Yes, that's an indication. Leaves are on one part and the flowers are on one part. The flowers are generally without the leaves, if you can see. Okay, so this is the overall feel, and whatever you're writing, that this is more or less a lonely thing in the middle of nowhere. Yes, thorns are there. Thorns are symbolic of giving you protection or giving you more strength. On the other hand, leaves are much more calming. It gives you food, it gives you nourishment. Through leaves, you get your, your nourishment for your livelihood or for your living, in fact. So leaves are kind of separated from the flowers. So it can be a kind of a defense where the flower feels that he or she can be alone without the help of the vital needs. Okay, he can fight his own battle. Someone wrote that this entire picture gives you a sense of loneliness. It is true. It is kind of true. Roots are not visible. That means there is no conformity. There's a kind of defiance in the person. Okay, stems are not there. There is a kind of rejection from help from others. This basically denotes. Okay, so if you can share, if once I discuss the pointers, you can look into your own pictures and find out what are the focal points in your picture. For this, the focal points, a few things which I've discussed. There's no environment, there's no root, the flowers are kind of separated from the leaves. Okay, there are too many thorns, which is a kind of protection. If I would have drawn a fence around it, that would mean that there's stronger defense for not letting anyone know, or the person needs a kind of protection from others in order to save one's ego or identity. Okay, let me share the screen and I'll give you the specific pointers which you need to look into. A child or an adult, it can be both, that needs defenses may draw a fence around the rose bush. Okay, a child needs more security and stability in their life, may emphasize roots and root structure of the bush. If you are looking for stability, you'll be needing your family, you'll be needing your close ones, you'll be needing more of the ethical sides of life where the root system is supposed to be. And a child who can draw the thorns and full blooming roses, you will see that if a bush or maybe even a single rose is drawn in a very balanced manner, that means the person is more or less in a good state of mind. Okay, the person is mature in understanding and taking good decisions in life. And fullness of blossoms also you need to look into, and the leaves, whether it's on the bush or whether it's separated like the picture which I have drawn, or maybe it's in totality or there are no leaves at all, that can be also an indication of how fulfilled the person is. The fullness of the blossom or the freshness of the blossom will also give you some indications of what the psychological side of the person is, whether the person is happy or whether the person is drawn towards too much of stress, or the person has given up or not. Withered flower is generally an indication or a symbol of hopelessness.
Ma'am, I
Too
have a
many.
query.
Yes, yes, yes.
I have a query, ma'am. If someone doesn't know drawing very nicely, like what you have drawn was very neat and beautiful, but if someone don't know, then
It doesn't matter, ma'am. As I have told you, the product, how you have drawn it, or whether it's looking beautiful or not, it doesn't matter at all. It will, you have to look for focal points. If even this was
ma'am,
in
this
black
is
and
what
white
I've
and just
drawn.
a few line strokes, the meaning would have been the same.
Ma'am, can you
You
see?
show me. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how you
Yes.
draw it, honestly. Uh, uh, 1 second, I need to pin you, I guess. Can you just name yourself?
Sadhya Siddiqui.
O3, can you please do it?
It's
Yes,
very
ma'am.
ugly.
I'm unable to
drawing.
pin you.
It's very ugly drawing.
Pin her or remove my pin.
Yes, ma'am. I
I'll
did
remove
that.
my pin. There's nothing called ugly. Okay. Um, 1 second. Yes, now we can all see, I guess.
Oh no.
Okay, so it is a rose which is smiling. So there's a happy element out here, isn't it? It may not be something which is very beautiful or it is immaculately drawn, nothing of that sort. But what is in the middle? Can you tell me what's in the middle?
Ma'am, it's a road. And
The
on the
lines
road,
which you have drawn around.
yes, ma'am. It's a road and a rose is there. Just a one
Okay.
single rose is there. And sun is there. And small, small flowers are there. Flowers are pink, but the
Okay.
rose that I'm red. And all these green snake-like elements that I draw.
See, it
It's
can be an
bushes.
indication. May I discuss a few things over here with your permission?
Yes, sure.
Okay, it may be an indication that you want to become famous and popular and you want to be in the limelight, whereas other people appreciate you. Okay, maybe with
Yeah,
your
it's true.
career choice. So that would be like you have drawn yourself to be the biggest flower over there on the page. Okay, so it's an indication of your inner desires. That's the road, and you said it's pink and it's colorful, and other flowers are also there. These are happy elements which are around you.
Yes.
Okay, if it would have been a storm, then it would be a hurdle which we can see it on the paper.
Yes, and sun also. And there
Yes,
is a
sun is
sun
also a happy element where the sunlight, it's a kind of brightness in your life. You are hopeful, you are working towards it. You want to be maybe popular, you want to become famous, or you want to be someone who can, people appreciate on.
Wow, you're amazing.
Okay.
Thank you. It's exactly right.
So this is
Thank you.
one indication. It may not be a very beautiful picture, but the emphasis is on the elements which are present on the picture. You have to look for them, not how beautiful each picture is looking. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone else? See, if you have too many things, if you have too many things on the paper, it generally means, just a moment, I'll just share my screen. If you have too many elements drawn on the picture and if it's looking very cluttered, kind of reaction formation tendencies which the person has. Reaction formation, for your information, is something which is the opposite of how you're feeling. Say for instance, I'm feeling very nervous, I'll show myself to be extremely confident, I'm totally vocal about things, but I'm not. So in the picture, if you get certain things which look very cluttered, very compressed, we talked about the compression part. If it looks compressed, it is a direct indication that the person is feeling exactly the opposite. Okay, if you have, say, too many flowers drawn and everything is looking very bright and beautiful, but there are too many things, you can understand there are too many things on it, or too many butterflies hovering around, that means there is a tendency of reaction formation in the person. You need to delve into it and find out whether everything is okay. If you say that, no, this has so many butterflies and bees, and flowers. So it means that the person is happy. No, it is not the case. You need to find out whether actually the person feels that way or not. Okay, through the prompts which I have given you.
Ma'am,
Yes, O3.
ma'am, Arhama says that she drew a single bright rose without roots. What does that indicate?
See, without roots, it's more of your confidence level. Maybe sometimes you don't need that kind of emotional security at this moment. You already have it. You feel confident about yourself, and you can do away with your own set of values and ethics which are already rooted inside you. You don't need external support, or maybe at this juncture, maybe you feel that whatever you could gain, whatever ethical value you could gain, you have already gained, and you are sure about what you are doing. Sometimes we generally waver in our decision making, or whether I am a good person or a bad person. But for people who have not drawn roots, it may be an indication, it is an indication that the person already knows whether the person is good or bad. Okay, whether I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing. I won't say good or bad, that's not a right word to use, but whether I'm doing the wrong thing or the right thing. So you're more or less sure about it. People who need more of security and a lot of stability in their lives, they generally draw roots. They will draw roots even when they are adults. Children will draw more of roots and the ground. They will have this tendency to draw it, but as adults, you will see most of the time that the ground is not there. And the more firmly the ground is drawn, it states that you still need a lot of reassurance from your parents or from your elders to take any kind of decision. Okay.
Ma'am, Neha ma'am says that she drew a lot of roses with a lot of rose petals, water, a sun, and a boat.
See, water here is an indication of either the mother figure or sexual desires. Both are in fact infused in water symbolization. Boat is kind of a carrier. Maybe it is more related to your career. It takes you from one place to the other. It's a kind of a destination vehicle. And especially if you have drawn too much of water around you, look into the aspects of your relationship with your mother. Okay. See, these are all the psychological, the unconscious symbols which come up through our drawings, and it is absolutely impossible to tell you each and every meaning of it. But as and when you do it, if you follow the different dimensions which we have talked about, you will see, you will get an overall feel of the picture and start analyzing it. And if you are in confusion, you can always send me your samples, and I can just have a quick chat with you. I generally do that. So any confusions, even post workshop, you can reach out through
One
WhatsApp.
question I have drawn
Yes.
a vastness and colored it yellow. So is there a
Okay.
significance of yellow, like how you said, blue is towards the mother, and then towards the bottom part, I've made some wavy lines with brown, as if in strokes. So what would signify on the
Okay.
yellow part, if you, ma'am, like lush green fields, but probably my case it's lush yellow fields. So any indication of that, please?
Yellow is generally an indication of your acumen, or how much knowledge you want to acquire. Maybe at this juncture, you are striving to gain more and more knowledge. Okay, to get yourself rooted to some place. So that can be an indication that you're using more of yellow.
Okay.
Maybe
Thank you,
there
ma'am.
is a channel open to you that you want to acquire more knowledge.
Yeah, to some extent it does. At the middle age of my life, I have started wanting to know like more of this part. Thank you
Yes.
so much, ma'am.
So knowledge acquisition is an indication of affinity towards yellow. So that's why maybe you're using it more often.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the last three, welcome, ma'am. The last three part, the dead rose bushes or broken limbs, or anything which you feel is a negative connotation here, it can be an indication of depression, hopelessness, especially hopelessness. If we don't even talk about depression, despair and hopelessness are indications of these withered flower, broken stems, withered leaves, or totally absence of leaves. Okay, dead rose bushes, and it's looking very dull. All these may be an indication of hopelessness, where the person has stopped feeling good for himself or feeling good about life. Okay, that's the time where you need to intervene and probe and find out what's happening. And if it is like winter season, or maybe a blizzard, or maybe a storm which is approaching, it might be an external factor which is bothering the child or the person or the individual in a big way. If you have very dark clouds, it may be the family environment, it may be the school environment which the person is bothered about, or maybe someone is bothering him or her in a big way. Okay, and other elements which are there, the bright elements are sun, plants, other plants are indication of support system. The maybe the child has some good friends who are supporting, so when you're counseling the child, you can ask the peer group to also get involved and help him out. Then birds also an indication of help, external help. Whether it's helpful or damaging, you'll get to understand when you're looking at the picture. For instance, if you have clouds, if there are white clouds, then it's not a big botheration. But if you see that there's a storm, approaching storm, or there are thunder clouds, it can be an indication where the person is facing big turmoil inside. Okay, so as a counselor, maybe you can always use these metaphors and guide the child or the adult in saying that yes, even if the storm comes, you can you can be very strong with, since you have your roots, and even if you get uprooted, the gardener can always come and help you. Okay, it can help others also, or other bushes also, because they are also facing the same thing. So you can guide them in the story method. Alongside, after the responses are done, you can always ask them about the ending of the story, like what is eventually going to happen. And if you see that the child has kind of no ending to it, or it has a very bad ending to it, that is an indication of a trauma response. That means still the child or the person is unable to process certain incidents in their lives which are bothering them. So as a counselor, since you know their story, you can always give them certain helpful factors to work on, which can help them process the information which they are looking for. Uh, can you please kindly mute yourself? Someone has. Okay. So, any questions from this method? This is the overall synopsis of the rosebush technique. Drawing process is always required here because it fuses the person. If you imagine and you just talk about it, you are unable to look into the details of the thing. If I would have just described my rose bush, it would have been taken in a very different way by different people. But if once I make it very concrete on paper, it is always easy to look at things. Even for the person, it is first of all therapeutic when you're involving yourself in your own imagination and bringing life to it. That's very therapeutic. Alongside, it can act as a big source of information to the counselor. Okay, it will help the counselor to decipher whatever is required, the color combinations, the placement, everything will give you a sense of direction. I saw myself as a rose in a village having a garden and a sweet shop, okay, and some huts around. And that was a bright day having some other yellow flowers around without roots and leaves. Okay, so sweet shop, sweetness again over here. It's a village. If you're living in a city, it can be, totally opposite to what you're imagining. Maybe you are looking for some stress reliever. Maybe you're looking for some happy moments. Again, I'm telling you, your phrases are looking very positive, but this may be a direct indication of what you're yearning for. Maybe you're too stressed right now and you want a bright day, somewhere to relax, go more rustic. Or maybe you are a kind of reminiscence about your childhood where you have spent some time, a good time Imagining these things, it's an indication of regression, going backwards. Okay, you can, in the group itself, you can send in your pictures, you can send in your responses. We can have a good chat, each one of us, so that we know what all pictures you have drawn and what all indicators are there. Okay, I generally reply through the WhatsApp way. And what would many bushes around a single rose with leaves and thorns mean? Okay, single rose, the rose has leaves and thorns. If it is an intact rose, that gives a sense of confidence, which also has a supporting factor. Other bushes are also there around them. If it is intact, if the rose bush is intact, if all the elements of a rose is present, that means the person is pretty confident enough to lead their own life, at the same time is open for others also for their support. Okay, that is a positive indication. It is not, see here also, if I assume that maybe if I just draw a single rose and many other rose bushes around me, that means something is bad. It may not be that. It can be an indication of confidence, but then again, even if you're confident, you have a lack of fulfillment, since other rose bushes are pretty lush around you. So it can be a feeling where you are wanting more from what others are getting. Rainbow again is it's a happy element where you will find hope and color. This again can be an indication of stress, where you are yearning for some good times in your life. Okay, so let me quickly wrap this up. See, this, I would like to mention this particularly because there are a few pictures here. It was done by Mary Ann Scheller from the University of Minnesota. And what she adapted was this rosebush pictures. There were 13 of them, and through which she could understand which group was sexually abused and which group was not. The specific selection of these pictures indicated. These are a few drawings of rosebush, if you can see. You'll see different elements. See, the last picture is just one single tiny rose bush at the bottom of the picture. And then you have this blue picture here. Okay, and then you have this picture with a lot of fencing around. And then if you see particularly the fourth one, there's a stone and there's one log which is protecting, the stone is protecting the rose bush from getting squashed. So this is also an helpful element. There is a lot of stress going on in this picture, but at the same time, there are people who are helping him out. Okay, so these are a few examples. We can discuss this further, but there's one small technique, another technique, which I had earlier mentioned. The second one, this is a very modern technique, the rose bud and thorn technique. This is more of a CBT technique done by John Hopkins University, and it is exclusively used now these days for all, group workshops and then corporate workshops, or even for mindful reflection. So in this, if you see, just a moment. There are three divisions. You have your those post-its. What you can do is similar to this. You will have one column for rose, one column for thorn, and the last column for bud. What you generally do is tell your clients, you can do it in a group. It's great for a group activity. It can be a great icebreaker as well. For the rose, you tell them to write about their success or some highlight in their lives, something very positive which has happened. A thorn can resemble some challenge which they are facing, or what is the most stressful thing, or what causes them certain difficulties, something which they are struggling to deal with. And the bud portion, where they feel they can bring about changes, or new ideas, something they are looking forward to bring about certain positive changes in their lives. It can be an opportunity, it can be some need for growth, it can be something they are looking forward to, it can be something which they want to modify about themselves, which is an indication of hope to work on. Once you have this template ready, maybe they can just simply write it down, or you can have it in a post-it method. You can have 3 columns on a soft board, especially if you're dealing with school children. You can have the soft board made into 3 segments, and then you can simply ask them to, write about their excellence, about their challenges, about their possibilities. So this will be a great icebreaker for any group, and you can quickly start seeing their patterns, what all they are feeling inside and what all they are struggling with. This is a very quick method of understanding what they're working on and what they should work on. So I think these were the 2 methods which are more or less covered. Anything before we close down? Anything you would like to share? Anything you would like to ask? There are so many questions which are come up, so I'll take a little bit of time to answer these, and especially if you can put it in the group, that would be great. We can have a conversation based on that, and it would be great if I can see your work. If I could see what all pictures you have drawn and what all queries you have, you can just post it in the group and maybe just put it as a one-liner needing explanation. I can always guide you on that, and I'll send you the pointers. I'll send you this PPT itself in the group. So check it out in the group. Once I send it, I'll send the recording of this session also, so that you can hear it once more.
Ma'am, Lavanya ma'am asks for which type of issues we can use this technique.
It can be anything. See, clients who are coming to you will have some kind of issues which are, generally projected through their behavior. It can be restlessness, it can be aggression, it can be depression, it can be any kind of hopelessness. This will act as a tool in order to initiate discussion between you and your client. Okay, this is a tool where you can understand exactly what's the inner climate of a person is and how the person feels about oneself. If you see a very wilted rose without any petals, it's a kind of loneliness. It is like shut down from others. There are no helpful factors around. The sky is empty, there is no grounding. So it can give you certain insight that this person needs help, but he or she feels that I have no one around me to help me out of this mess. Okay, so it's an easy indication which you can probe, and especially people who have a difficulty to express themselves, or they don't want to talk about it. They will just come and sit and listen to. They will not talk about their problems. This will be an icebreaker. This will be an kind of initiation in order to get you going with the sessions. It will be a great thing to rapport build, because through art forms we generally fuse with the person and we kind of build a good rapport, which is very much required for a counseling session to work successfully. Otherwise, why will strangers come and talk about their problems to you? Once they start seeing that, yes, this is what exactly I'm feeling, once you give them certain cues on how they're feeling and what they can do about it, they will start relying on you. They will start listening to you. Otherwise, why should they? Okay, so this is kind of both a playway method for children, and for adults it's more of the CBT technique done through these drawings. And if I get any other information about it also, I'll send it across. And thank you for your kind words. It was lovely having you all here, and you all patiently waited for an hour to listen to us. Thank you so much. And any questions, you can get back on WhatsApp. Okay, I'll be sharing the resources soon, so don't worry about copying everything down.
Ma'am, is there any feedback form to fill up? or we'll be getting in the group?
Feedback form we haven't made, but you can always, go and leave a comment on our Facebook page. We have the review section. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope I could add on to some, at least, knowledge to your already, existing system. And if you can read up literature, there will be several literature on rosebush technique or any other technique which you already know of. Those are very good medium of understanding how these studies have brought about changes. There can be pointers, there can be, differences between psychological disorder age groups. You will be able to understand how it's being implemented and how you can work with your clients as well. We'll be sending you these certificates. Just give us some time because there are so many. So we'll send you the certificate soon. Books in art therapy generally, I will send a few suggestions. Please remind me in the group. I will send a few names of books. But before you read anything on art therapy books, it would be great if you read about the unconscious mind, about the metaphors which are used, about Jung's theory, about Freud's theory. If you can read and understand these theories properly, you will see no matter what picture you get, you'll be able to decipher. It is not required that you have a particular method in hand. But I'll still send you a few, don't worry.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know this.
Yes, ma'am.
That there's this institute which offers play therapy and art therapy courses. So, is it really advisable taking them up, or how is it? No, I'm not.
See,
Not that I'm a.
honestly, in India, there is no legal institute offering you any courses. If you feel that the mentor is good enough to give you, impart certain kind of information to you, you can always go ahead with it.
Okay.
But
See,
if
I
you
have
say that
done.
yes, I'll be certified art therapist as such, you cannot call yourself an art therapist. You can always call yourself as a practitioner art therapist.
Okay.
But I'm not very sure which institute you're talking about, but their charges are very, very high, especially because this is a very new field and people are unaware of the things. So they're charging anything, anything like too much of it.
I mean,
So
basically,
you decide.
yeah, I had just inquired, and they mentioned that it was like a course for about 6 months, where they train you to become art and play therapists,
See,
practitioners.
no one can train you within 6 months, honestly speaking. You can know about the techniques, but it takes ages to become a play therapist and an art therapist. It is so vast, especially in play therapy. Art therapy, you can still have a few techniques which are there, but especially in play therapy, you need to be very, very technical. You need to know all the details of doing the therapy session with the children. And play therapy is generally till 12 years of age. So you cannot do it with adults. You can, but those are a different provision altogether.
Right, ma'am. Okay.
So if you want more details, you can talk to me separately. Maybe I can just give you certain information about this.
Yes, ma'am. I'll connect with you personally and
Surely.
take the details from you.
Surely.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for all being here. It was great having you here. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thanks a lot. Bye bye, all of you. Take care.